Next up, an Israeli cybersecurity firm called Red Access scanned apps built with vibe coding tools, things like Lovable, Base44, Replit, Netlify, which I have used, and found 380,000 publicly accessible assets. Around 5,000 of them contain sensitive corporate data. Every IT person, if you're listening to this, the hair stood up. Privacy settings on many of these tools defaulted to public, and the apps are being indexed by Google. The people who built them often had no idea this was happening. Lovable, which doesn't sound very lovable right now, had a particularly rough run. In February 2026, a researcher found 16 vulnerabilities in a single Lovable hosted app, exposing nearly 18,000 user records. In April, another researcher revealed that any free Lovable account holder could access a different tenant's source code, database credentials, AI chat history, and customer data. A Q1 2026 assessment, more than 200 vibe-coded apps found that 92% had at least one vulnerability traceable to AI hallucination, and more than 60% exposed API keys or database credentials in public repositories. If you're not an IT person, trust me, this is not good stuff. And this isn't a niche developer problem. Employees across organizations are using these tools right now to build things their IT departments do not know about. The vibe coding pitch is simply like anyone can build with AI. I think I have probably also said that. Works exactly as intended.
You have said that.
The security implications are the other side of the same coin. I have said that, but I also do not work for some massive company. Jenni, vibe coding platforms are giving employees genuine capability to build tools without involving IT. Is this fundamentally a good thing with a security problem attached, or is shadow IT just shadow IT no matter how AI powered it is?
It's a good question. I need to come back to the term vibe coding and just clarify what that means for people listening. So,
do you want me to clarify it, or are you going to say?
I really do. Okay. No, because in my head, I'm like, we're like vibe coding, man.
That's kind of what it's like. I'm glad you're doing that. For those watching the video, you will see Jenni vibe coding. It's basically people that you have an idea and you just start building it. You start planning out, you're building it. You don't know developer, you don't know all the code, but you're just actively building, testing, continue playing, like, yeah, all of those things that it gives. Basically, it's like coders who aren't coders can now vibe code, because you're coding on vibes. You're not coding on tech skills.
So I think that this is fundamentally a good thing with a security problem. And if I link it into something that's got, I would say, less security risk, it's almost like when Canva came out and all of a sudden people could design. We were vibe designing. Does that count?
You can go with it.
And I think that that's almost, it's the same thing. It's like you can only go so far, you can do so much, but you're kind of playing, doing stuff, things that you couldn't do before because there's a tool that's now available to do it. This for me is not a bad thing. You know, you've had hours of fun vibe coding and testing and doing stuff and, you know, making games, all sorts of things, right? There's something brilliant in that technology is making this more accessible. But the security problem attached with it is the risk. And I think, yes, it is fundamentally a good thing with a security problem attached.
I love that you compared this to designing. So we've got vibe coding, we've got vibe designing. And I think then you look at it from the professional side of things, communicators are probably frustrated with other people vibe communicating, just kind of doing it themselves, not relying on the experts or the people to come to do it. You know, that this has got to be frustrating for IT teams, but I think it's also a good lesson to learn that what's your Jurassic Park thing you always come back to? Like if nature finds a way.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, there you go. And also nature finds a way. People will find a way. If IT is saying, no, we're not going to do that. No, you can't do that. People will find a way. They'll do a workaround. So how do you make this happen? How do you teach and educate the risks and dangers of this, but still encourage? It's like, how do you give people the to-dos and not the to-don'ts?
Yes.
On it. If you give enough people don'ts, they won't mess with it. But there's a lot of value in people understanding what goes into some of these things. Yeah. But it also shows the risk that's out there.
Yeah, and it's a big risk. And I think that does need to be addressed because that risk is significant, especially when you're dealing with data. And we've talked about, you know, people selling off data and all sorts of stuff. Like there's a lot in there that needs to be fixed. But the essence of it.
And here, they don't need to sell it. It's readily available. They can just go poach it.